Precisely 6:15. This is the news on Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation. News is edited by Dilini Gunawardana, read by Sabrina Zawahir. The headlines. The President emphasizes the significance of expanding technology education and training. Prime Minister Dinesh Gunawardana commends the contribution of agricultural research officers. IMF Executive Director appreciates the political will to speed up reforms. Commonwealth Secretary General to visit Sri Lanka in February. Top Japanese finance diplomat assures that Japan is working hard to help Sri Lanka. And in world news, President Zelensky urges speedy delivery of Western tanks. And in sports, it's baseball. The West Asia Baseball Cup tournament is to commence tomorrow. Now the local news in detail. The President emphasizes the significance of expanding the opportunities available in the fields of technology education and training in the country. He expressed this view at a discussion held regarding the International Conference and Exhibition on New Digital Economy at the Presidential Secretariat. New technology should be introduced to the industrial section of the island. The government intends to make Sri Lanka an export hub. International standard practices will be introduced to the local industries. This exhibition will introduce up-to-date technological equipment and tools in the fields of cyber systems, robotics, and artificial intelligence to the industrial section. It is organized by representatives of 13 parallel ministries. Prime Minister Dinesh Gunawardana commends the contribution of agricultural research officers towards making Sri Lanka self-sufficient. They are capable of working with the farmers and solving the issues faced by them. He expressed these views declaring open the headquarters of the National Association of Agricultural Research Officers established in Maharagama. He further added that the assistance of all the government officers is required to make the island self-sufficient. IMF Executive Director Dr. Krishnamurthy Subramaniam said the political will displayed by the Sri Lankan leadership to speed up reforms and implement difficult tax increases in order to revive the economy is highly appreciable. Dr. Subramanian, who called on Prime Minister Dinesh Gunawardana at the Prime Minister's office in Colombo today, said almost all the requirements for the IMF relief package for Sri Lanka have been completed, and the moment the final assurances from major lending countries is completed, the process would be finalized. He emphasized that special attention should be focused on the vulnerable groups while preparing new economic plans. Meanwhile, State Minister Ranjit Simbalapitiya, who attended the discussion with the IMF delegation, headed by Dr. Subramanian, stated that the discussions were fruitful. Accordingly, the first installment of the financial assistance given by the IMF will be received soon. This news is brought to you by Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation. Continuing local news, the Commonwealth Secretary General Patricia Scotland is scheduled to arrive in Sri Lanka next week for a 5-day visit. On an invitation extended by President Ranil Wickremesinghe, Scotland will attend the 75th the island's Independence Day celebration on February 4th, according to the Commonwealth Secretariat. During her stay, she is expected to engage in discussions with top state officials, including President Wickremesinghe. The Commonwealth chief will be in Sri Lanka from February 1st to 5th. Japanese Vice Finance Minister for International Affairs, Masato Kanda, has assured that Japan is closely coordinating with international organizations to ensure the participation of non-Paris Club members in Sri Lanka's debt restructuring plan. He stated that Japan was working hard to help Sri Lanka by coordinating with the Paris Club of Creditors Nations and the IMF to ensure the participation of non-members, including China and India, in efforts to restructure the country's debt. With that, we conclude the local news.
The main news story is brought to you by Siddhalepa Veda Mahatmya.
The National Film Corporation celebrated its 51st anniversary along with the 76th anniversary of Sri Lankan cinema today. A number of programs had been organized in commemoration of both anniversaries. The main event was held at the National Film Corporation under the patronage of Minister Bandula Gunawardena and National Film Corporation Chairman Deepal Chandaratna. At the event, a floral tribute was paid to late renowned Sri Lankan cinematographers Dr. Lester James Pieris and Dr. Sumitra Pieris by veteran filmmaker and producer Chandran Ratnam. The memorial lecture was delivered by Senior Professor Samantha Herath of the University of Colombo. Parallel to the main function, the film Sandesha was screened at the Film Corporation Cinema Hall in Colombo 7. That was main news.
The main news story was brought to you by Siddhalepa Vedamahatmya.
Brush your teeth twice a day for healthy teeth and gums. Supiriviki and Kakulu, your trusted brands in oral care for many years.
Supiriviki Ayurvedic toothpaste for adults. Kakulu Ayurvedic toothpaste for kids. 9 Ayurvedic ingredients of Supiriviki will protect your teeth and strengthen your gums. Supiriviki and Kakulu, products from Siddhalepa.
Moving on to Watchlight, the Foreign Employment Bureau has taken measures to extend the 15-day training course for women first time for the position of domestic housekeeping assistant to 28 days from February 1st this year with NVQ 3 level. Accordingly, 25 days of theoretical and practical training are provided and 3 days are reserved for national vocational qualification evaluation activities. The Bureau announces that this decision has been taken to raise the quality of training courses in order to send well-trained workers abroad according to international standards. That came to you in Watchlight.
Coming up, World News.
The headlines of the world news. President Zelensky urges speedy delivery of Western tanks. UN says Taliban is to set new rules on women's aid work. 8 dead after cargo ship sinks off coast of Japan. Now the world news in detail. Ukraine's president has thanked Western leaders for sending tanks to support the fight against Russia, but said they needed to be delivered quickly. In his address, Volodymyr Zelensky also urged the West to send long-range missiles and fighter jets. His comments came after the US and Germany announced they would send Abrams and Leopard tanks to Ukraine. Russia condemned the announcement as a blatant provocation and said any supplied tanks would be destroyed. Taliban ministers have told a senior UN official they plan to draw up new guidelines to allow Afghan women to work in some humanitarian operations. BBC reports encouraging responses have been received from a wide range of Taliban ministers during talks in Kabul, even if banning Afghan women working for NGOs is not reversed. With Afghan women playing a crucial role in delivering aid, there is concern the ban is endangering urgent life-saving humanitarian operations in the country. Chinese authorities say 8 people, including several Chinese nationals, have died after a cargo ship sank in Japan's waters. Rescue workers have been searching for survivors since the Jingran went down on Tuesday evening. Multiple vessels and aircraft from Japan's Coast Guard and military, South Korea's Coast Guard and private ships have been involved in the search. That ends World News. Prior to concluding, the headlines of the World News once again. President Zelensky urges speedy delivery of Western tanks. UN says Taliban is to set new rules on women's aid work. 8 dead after cargo ship sinks off coast of Japan. That ends World News.
Development News.
The government of Italy has expressed its willingness to help Sri Lanka by supplying helicopters for anti-human trafficking measures taken by the government. The Italian ambassador to Colombo, Rita Manel, revealed this during a meeting with President Ranil Wickremesinghe at the Presidential Secretariat. The two sides discussed the strengthening of the partnership between Italy and Sri Lanka, and special attention was paid to cultural exchanges, tourism enhancement, possible investments, defence aspects, and how Italy can help Sri Lanka during these challenging times. That was Development News.
Sports News is brought to you by
Sampath Bank. We present your future.
In sports, it's baseball. The Sri Lanka national baseball team is in all readiness to head over to Islamabad, Pakistan, as they prepare to defend the West Asia Baseball Cup, which was won in 2019. The team departed Sri Lanka yesterday to participate in the 15th West Asia Baseball Cup, scheduled to be held from 27 January to 1st of February. Sri Lanka is set to face Afghanistan, Bangladesh, India and Nepal, while the toughest test would be against the hosts Pakistan. The tournament, which was planned to be held in 2022, was postponed on numerous occasions but is now set to take place tomorrow. That was Sports News.
Go ekak thiyana youth eකට life එකේ change එකට නියමෙට set වෙන්න ඇස් වහගෙන දැන් පුහින හැබැයි කරන්න youth එකට නියමෙට set වෙන friendship එක මෙන්න.
The all-new NSB Ithru Mithru account, NSB IM, a plan for your dream.
Business News, sponsored by National Savings Bank, the safest place for your money.
Sri Lankan Airlines, in its continuous endeavour to promote Sri Lanka as a sought-after tourist destination among the niche travellers, organises Ride Sri Lanka 2023, a cross-country cycling tour with a star-studded rider line-up from across the world. Ride Sri Lanka 2023 was flagged off from Jetwing Jaffna on January 23rd and will be reaching Galle on January 28th. The tour will pass through many ecological and cultural attractions such as Jaffna, Mannar, Anuradhapura, Sigiriya, Ramboda, Nuwara, Ella, Tissa Maharama and Galle, with the 7th day dedicated to a tour around Colombo. That was Business News.
Business News, sponsored by National Savings Bank, the safest place for your money.
Go ekak thiyana youth එකට life එකේ change එකට නියමෙට set වෙන්න ඇස් වහගෙන දැන් පුහින හැබැයි කරන්න youth එකට නියමෙට set වෙන friendship එක මෙන්න.
The all-new NSB Ithru Mithru account, NSB IM, a plan for your dream.
Economic news, courtesy of
LONC Finance is taking the power of innovation to the next level, winning 5 goals at the Technovation Awards 2022, leading the digital revolution with cutting-edge interbanking digital payments. LONC Finance claims the overall Gold Award, whilst also claiming an extraordinary victory in digital banking.
The Sri Lankan Convention Bureau and Sri Lankan Airlines, together in partnership under the aegis of Tourism and Lands, recently announced the official launch of MICE Expo 2023. The aim of this program is to promote Sri Lanka as the perfect destination for meetings, incentive travels, conferences and exhibitions. The event will take place from 13th to the 15th of March 2023 at Shangri-La, Colombo, hosting over 100 participants from Southeast Asia, the Middle East and Europe. That was Economic News.
LONC Finance is taking the power of innovation to the next level, winning 5 goals at the Technovation Awards 2022, leading the digital revolution with cutting-edge interbanking digital payments. LONC Finance claims the overall Gold Award, whilst also claiming an extraordinary victory in digital banking. LONC Finance will continue to innovate with the next generation digitalization of financial services, delivering a superior customer experience. Weather report.
Finally, we take a look at the weather report. The weather forecast for the day predicts that several spells of light showers will occur in the eastern and Nuva provinces and in the Hambantota and Polonnaruwa districts. Showers or thunder showers will occur at several places in the western and Sabaragamuwa provinces and in the Kandy, Nuwara, Galle and Mathura districts during the afternoon or night. That was the weather report. Prior to concluding this bulletin of news, the headlines once again. The President emphasizes the significance of expanding technology education and training. Prime Minister Dinesh Gunawardena commends the contribution of agricultural research officers. IMF Executive Director appreciates the political will to speed up reforms. Commonwealth Secretary General to visit Sri Lanka in February. Top Japanese finance diplomat assures that Japan is working hard to help Sri Lanka. With that, we conclude the news.